put in my heart for lockdown, oh lockdown. Girl, you sweet life, phantom, phantom. If I tell you say I love you, you know they for me young girl, oh young girl. No tell me no, 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 oh, 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 oh. Baby, come give me your lo, 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 oh, 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 oh. You got me like whoa, 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 whoa. Shawty, come give me your lo, 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 oh, 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 oh. I see this fine girl from my party, she wear yellow. Every other girl they do too much, but this girl mellow. Now in my fine situation, I go use they tell I'm mellow. Finally I find way to talk to the girl, but she ain't no one follow. Who you gonna phone for one? When you know I come for one, then I start to feel a bum bum one. But she dey give me small small one. I know say she sabi pass it down one one. But she feeling insecure one, cause her friends could they come my light ring go on. Could they come my light ring go on? Baby, calm down, calm down. Yo, this your body, it puts in my heart for lockdown, oh lockdown. Yo, you sweet life, phantom, phantom. If I tell you say I love you, you know they for me young girl, oh young girl. No tell me no, 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 oh, 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 oh. Baby, come give me your lo, 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 oh, 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 oh.
Ron Newman, a championship's brewing. Sweet 16. The San Diego Sockers are back-to-back MASL Ron Newman Cup champions.
You think I'm jumping out the window? I gotta move.
Tavoy Morgan says, I ain't done. He's got his 5th goal of the game in the 3rd quarter. For Childs, his header, goal! Childs bent to the far post, goal! It's Williams back to Pereira, his shot, saved by Pardo, the save of the year! And he's got Gutierrez, and Christian Gutierrez will shoot and score! Judas with a step to the middle, to the left foot, still open, shoots, he scores! Charlie fakes around a man, shoots, he scores! Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Sockers and the Major Arena Soccer League, streaming to you on Twitch. Craig Elston, Jerry Jimenez, we are together once again. It is Season 5, Episode 22. It is playoff time. Normally you'd be on pins and needles going, is this going to be the last episode? This is Soccer's Overtime. We knew we'd be here. We're here. We're going to give the people what they want. Soccer's Savage coming up in the Western Conference Finals. But first, this episode titled A Muzzling of Mesquite. The Outlaws learned crime doesn't pay. You only get one goal, and even that one's a bit dubious. Jerry Jimenez, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back here with you. I was telling a couple of our fans at the last game, this Tuesday is going to be fun. So I'm glad here we are on a Tuesday. If you're listening later on, welcome in as well. You're always welcome to join us on Tuesdays, but if you can't make it, we understand. Thank you for listening regardless. But yeah, it's good to be here, man. And I see everybody starting to chime in on the chat. Reminder, please send us questions. Send us your comments. We love to see everything you have to say here on Twitch. But yeah, man, it's Taco Tuesday. I haven't had any tacos today, but maybe after this we'll go celebrate a little bit with some tacos.
Well, now you're giving me dinner plans.
Let's go.
I'm getting excited. Yeah, we are excited to have you here. As you said, we are a live show Tuesdays at 5 o'clock on Twitch. Twitch.tv/San Diego Sockers. And if anyone's here for the first time, go ahead and click that follow button. And you'll hear every time we go live. We're going to be going live for some significant moments in the coming weeks. That is to be sure. We say hello to everybody who is watching us on replay on our YouTube channel, which is also at San Diego Sockers. And a hello to anybody listening on the audio podcast. Oh man, I had been so delinquent, and today I got us all caught up, and I'm not going to fall behind again. So by at least Wednesday morning, we could have some podcast listeners, and I say welcome to all of you who are listening the OG way, the way that Soccer's Overtime was the first 3 seasons, in audio format only, without interaction. On tonight's show, the Sockers make a dominant statement against Mesquite. We'll recap both matches from the opening round over Easter weekend. Special guest tonight is Juan Gonzalez. We will talk about his journey back into the Sockers starting lineup, and he'll help us preview the semifinal showdown against Chihuahua. We've already seen 2 knockout games in the Ron Newman Cup playoffs and an OT thriller on top of that. We'll look back at everything that's happened in the Ron Newman Cup playoffs and MASL news. We'll talk playoff schedules and watch party plans in Sockers news. It's all coming up on the show of record in the MASL. Sockers Overtime with Craig and Jerry. Bobby Cressy's Beyond the South Bay fading out, our official theme song. Find it on the album Cali Native, available on iTunes, available on Bandcamp, wherever you find your music. Drop Bobby a dime, don't just download. Give him that purchase. Give him those 5 stars as well. Hopefully you give us 5 stars on our Sockers Overtime. I'm probably gotten a couple of 2 stars on audio for where's the show? It's been gone. And that was just from Gabriel.
But you know what though? It's been rough, and Gabriel I think can understand this. It's been a rough last few with not knowing the schedule and just trying to keep track of everything, with these playoffs and all the work that we have going on in the front office. So we appreciate all of your patience, but we're working to be better every single time, and I am gonna put complete blame on Craig on this one. He's the one that does the audio.
It's my fault. Yeah, it is my fault.
So if you have any issues, please make sure you reach out to Craig Elston, 619 Sports, social media.
Oh, and they do.
they do,
and they did. No. Which they do. Oh, they did. That did help. That did help me actually. The kick in the butt helped me get going. I had a guy who said, "Oh, I'm listening back through the whole season, and it just stopped.
Oh no,
can we pick it up again?" I was like, "Dude, someone's binge listening Soccer's Overtime. I got to give him more to listen to." So,
you're such a goofball.
They're all up. We're up to date. I am a goofball, by the way. As we get into stuff, I want to say a big thanks to one of our great sponsors, Dirt Foods. Dirt Food is out at all of our matches. Hopefully you've seen them if you've come to Pechanga Arena, San Diego, their table outside, as they hand out some of the samples of their dirty balls, which I tell you what, are just absolutely terrific. Superfood. They have also the Dirt Spice in my coffee right now. I've got some of the Dirt Spice, which has kind of a cinnamony flavor to it, so it actually is a flavor enhancer, but it also makes your coffee into an alkaline beverage. I will tell you, my wife Mitzi loves Dirt Food so much. Every time that they do a drop-off at the office, she's like, "Did you get more? Did you find some more?" And then there was kind of like a month or two that they didn't, so then she ordered it online, eatdirtfood.com, and it came home, and I started munching on the granola. She's like, "Hey, that's expensive. Don't you? That's mine. You can't have it."
It's so good though. I don't blame her.
I know.
It is amazing. If you haven't tried it, if you guys are listening in and haven't tried it, please do yourself a favor and go check it out. Especially those dirty balls. They're so good.
Man,
they're really
I love their dirty balls. They are incredible.
When you started telling me about that powder you put in your coffee too, I started doing that with mine, and now I can't stop. Like, I have to have a cup of coffee with their special powder that they have. What's the name of it? I forget the name of it.
Dirt Spice.
Dirt Spice. That's right. That's right. It's so good. It is so good. It adds a lot of flavor to it, especially if you're somebody that likes just black coffee. You add that in there.
That's me now.
Yeah.
I just made that change. I used to have the most sugary coffee. I didn't use actual sugar, but whatever, a Splenda or something, and I'd put the creamer in. And one time Phil didn't get his coffee at practice and asked for some of mine because I had a big, I'm like, here you go. And he's like, oh, might as well put a cake in there. What did you put, And I realized it's much healthier to drink black coffee. And so when I get a good coffee that's black, I mean, I just absolutely love with it. I love it. So now I'm a convert. I'm black coffee, but a little dirt spice in there, that's not adding any nasty creamer. That's like adding superfood to your coffee. So eatdirtfood.com. There ends your promotional announcement. Eat Dirt Food.
Love
Dirty
it.
balls.
So good.
Hashtag dirty balls. All right. We're getting into our recaps. We've got back-to-back recaps. Juan Gonzalez, I told him he could check in about 5:40 for tonight's show, knowing that we had 2 recaps to get through.
Yeah.
We had a great crowd out at Califino Sublimate Lounge for our watch party on Good Friday for the Sockers and Mesquite Outlaws match 1. And before we roll the highlights, I just wanted to say one brief word and actually offer an apology because, the chat is always there on Twitch. And during the match on Friday, especially in the first half, I got a little sassy in the chat. And, as somebody who, I should hold myself to a high standard, I want to apologize for being sassy in the chat. And I want to explain why, which is that there are certain things that will trigger me. And as a person who's been announcing play-by-play since 1990 and has learned since that time, which was the time of the last Sockers playoff shutout before Sunday, by the way, 1990. I've learned what makes a broadcast important. What makes a broadcast good? What a play-by-play broadcaster can do to add to a broadcast. And 90% of it happens before the cameras are on and before the microphone's on. Maybe 95% of it happens before the camera's on and before the microphone's on, and it's called preparation. The key to being a good play-by-play announcer is preparation. And there's something that we do as a team before every single game, which we take pride in, which is we create an entire downloadable, interactive set of match notes that has everything from historical records to all of the information that any good play-by-play announcer could possibly ever need to succeed at their job. And we take it seriously. We have the best match notes in the league. The league has told us that 100 times. They don't have to tell us that. We know that they're the best in the league because I spent decades in press boxes reading NBA, MLB, NFL press notes, NHL, seeing what they do well, seeing what they don't do well, and adapting that. And we have a goal. We have deadlines with these things. We have to turn them in 48 hours before the match, all of these things. And the goal of those notes are to give the announcers, when our team's on the road, every single tool they could possibly need to succeed at their job when it came to talking about the San Diego Sockers. And the league, by the way, puts those notes on the front page of their website for anybody. You can go and click and read the game notes from the different teams around the league. And, of course, I will put ours up against anybody's in this league or in the major leagues. In any league, I'll put to our game notes. So when the announcer for the other team sees our team for the first time, maybe they're new in the league and they mispronounce some names and they haven't done the research, they haven't read the notes, I'll kind of cut them some slack. And that was the first time the Sockers went to Mesquite. And all of our players' names got mispronounced, and the guy had no idea what was going on and was lost in it and had no context to the team whatsoever. I'll kind of give him a pass on that. In the playoffs, I'm not going to give you a pass. And I did him exactly as much respect as he did our team. I didn't really look up his name. It's Michael something. I heard it on the broadcast once, and I didn't bother to go rewind it because he didn't bother to go and find out that Boris Pardo, the goalkeeper of the year 2 times in the league, and likely to be 3 times in the league and likely to be MVP, didn't bother to find out his name. Just called him the keeper the whole game. The whole game. and you know, Escoto, Pino, Cardenas, all of these names, it's triggering for me because that's what makes a broadcast bad, and that's what makes the league look unprofessional, and that's what makes the broadcast less consumable, and that's what makes a potential sponsor less likely to be interested. And we want this league to grow and elevate, and I just think that Mesquite can do better. I really do. And whether it's this man, who I'm sure is a totally nice dude, improving, please, or finding someone else, you can do better than that. And it's just not good enough. And it's frustrating for everyone else who puts the work in for this league. And that's all. I mean, you know, it's tough. And you know, Jerry, you know how much we put in every game to giving the storyline of the opponent, knowing that when Mesquite is playing us, that Mesquite fans are watching. So we talked about Luis Morales. We talked about moving O'Dane Sinclair into the back. We talked about shutting down Pablo. We talked about the point they got in Chihuahua that was critical. Like all about the youth of the team, about Ortiz, about Mendez, and why they're going to be a force for years to come. All of that. And I just want to see that, and I do see it in most markets in the MASL, reciprocated. But I will be very honest and say still, half the announcers in this league don't read the notes. Half the announcers in this league show up and get a roster at the game. And if they know the pronunciations, it's because they've learned them over the years. And some of the longest term announcers in this league, and the person who I'm not saying by name knows who they are, they don't read the notes. I'm talking about someone who's done it for years and years and years. Don't read the notes. So read the notes. Do the league that service. And believe me, we're going to have Chihuahua, all of their storylines, and we're going to, and if we are lucky and blessed to advance, we will have whatever our Eastern Conference opponent is, all of their storylines and all of their names down. I just want people in this league who are announcers who get a vote for MVP to watch games in this league. Watch the games. Watch them. Not just your game, the game you showed up to. Yeah, you watched that game. Watch other teams' games. Anyone who doesn't know who Brandon Escoto's name is in this league that's an announcer, I mean, would it be okay to go to La Liga and not know the names of the players? Would it be okay to call a PSG game and be like, Messi? Well, I never met him. Lionel Messi. Like, learn the names. And I thought Chihuahua, by the way, was absolutely fantastic last night. Absolutely fantastic. I thought that broadcast was aces. So I'm sorry. Little mini soapbox, but I do apologize for being sassy in the chat. This is my platform to blast the hell out of somebody. And that's all. Just let's do better. Let's do better as a league. Let's do better.
You started this by saying I want to apologize. Oh, that was great. That finalizes Craig's Corner for this show, brought to you by Dirt Food. There's the Dirt with Craig. I don't know. We're gonna come up with a good name.
Yeah.
Come up with a name.
But
I agree with you, and I'm not gonna add very much to it. But do your homework, guys. Hiram, Escato, Pino,
Hiram,
Cardenas.
Hiram, come on.
And the goalkeeper and the rest of the team would really appreciate it if you did your homework. That would be great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Guy with RPG is 100% right. I get a league awards ballot. I take that extremely seriously. And our league isn't the NBA, but like I've heard some of the NBA guys who vote on awards, and they agonize over it, Jerry, because they know there are contracts that have all league award triggers in it. Mm-hmm. You know, like you make this much, but your first team all NBA, you make this much. You know, if you're first team all NBA, you get the opportunity for a supermax extension instead of a max extension. You know, all of these different things. And so the idea that you could vote for a league award and not like really feel like you know every player in the league. Yeah. And feel like you know who's good, who's bad, which teams are good, which teams are bad, and you still click submit on the vote. That's why I have a real hard time with the MASL awards every year. That's why I rant about it like 82% more than I should. And that's why the scoring champion has been the MVP every single year in the MASL, and I think they'll make it 10 for 10 this year. You know, I expect Nick to win the award. The same guy who got shut out at home in a play-in game against Mesquite.
Yeah.
MVP. Like, my guy threw a shutout at that team. I don't even think it's close. So anyways, I really appreciate the guys who do the research. Someone just mentioned Bergrud, you know, Eric Bergrud, who's been a guest on our show multiple years. He watches games. He does the research. I see the guys around the league who do the research. I can't get out of it without saying Philly and Jonathan. They watch the games. They do the research. Some people don't like their style. Those guys have watched 5 times more soccer than almost every other announcer in the league. So,
yeah. Kudos to those people that do the homework. So, yeah, we appreciate you. You know who you are. So we don't need to name you on. All right. Know. That's enough. That's 20 minutes.
Jesus, I know.
Let's jump into it.
The lumpy bumpy field, the Sockers and the Outlaws. There was some nervousness. How would things develop? And early on, I think the Sockers really showed their mettle, Jerry. They came out with a will in this match. And even though there was no scoring in the opening few minutes, the Sockers showed that they were going to come in with the intensity that Mesquite would have to match. Mesquite could not match it.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a hard time. You know, it just as a whole, the lumpy bumpy field caused a couple of things. Maybe we're going to talk a little bit about that Child's call a little bit later. But, you know, the field itself doesn't help. Then coming in, it was really important for us to come off on the strong foot, and we did with the Escoto's first goal there. Really just tricking Pollo and convincing him he was going to go one way, went the other way. That's the kind of stuff that we're used to seeing from Churras, right? Just juking people and convincing them that he's going to go one way, and boom, he goes the other way.
That little shoulder dip that he did, and really with his arms as well. He has a little motion, and he just had Pollo. I mean, that was nasty. Honestly, that was one of the nastiest goals of the year. Just shrugging the goalkeeper aside and passing the ball into the empty net. Really good stuff. I thought getting the first goal in this match was going to be really, really important. And I think it was, because 1-0 carried into the second quarter. San Diego was able to get the second goal. You know, they were able to add on to the early advantage that they found with Tavoy Morgan, you know, and a lovely setup from Pollo. The Sockers stayed with it on the lumpy bumpy so many times. The first attempt to feed the forward, it might get deflected, it might bounce away, but the Sockers did a great job, I thought, in this match of staying with it, looking to that player again, and this was a great example of Tavoy, you know, staying active, making himself available, Pollo finding him. Sockers taking that 2-0 lead, which, you know, this winds up being the match-winning goal, Jared.
Yeah. I mean, Mesquite had no answers to anything that we were doing. There was very few opportunities, and this one actually, this stands out because the announcers actually mentioned something about this being too easy. Like, that goal was not easy by Tavoy, first of all. That turnaround is not an easy shot, and was just a beautiful sight to see. that Toy was able to even get that with the defender right on him, and then past Pollo, who's one of the best goalkeepers really, in the league. Even after this weekend, I don't feel bad saying that. I think Pollo just needs to have some support, and in this game he just did not. And as you said, there's just that ended up being the game-winning goal.
It did. Now here is Mesquite's goal of the weekend. Outlaw fans, drink it in. As Ortiz, I thought it was a fairly adjudicated blue card against Pardo. I think it was the right call. So Xavier's in. The shot. Oh, yeah, baby. That's what we needed. 1-0 right there. Yeah.
Oh, he
yeah, baby.
He said 2-1 right after. He corrected himself.
He did.
It was
2-1.
the excitement. By the way, up to that point, I mean, again, this is in the second quarter now with only a few minutes left right in the second quarter, but they were very monotone the majority of the time up until this point. So I was happy to, hear how excited they got. But yeah, I think I went into the chat and was like, I just want to make sure that everybody knows it's not 1-0.
Yeah. And that's where I started to get sassy. And that's why I apologized. That's why I apologized.
Yeah.
But great save there by Pollo, left hand out on Christian Gutierrez. But then again, just find the target. O'Dane Sinclair, a forward turned into a defender, couldn't stay with Tavoy there, couldn't continue with the motion. And all Tavoy needs is a step. All he needs, as we've seen, is an inch, a step, the chance. He doesn't even need to take a touch. He'll turn on the ball as he takes the touch to score the goal. 3-1 right there. That goal came less than a minute into the into the third quarter, and it really set the tone. Because at 2-1, again, it was like, hey, next goal, Mesquite gets a goal. They get into it. The crowd, it was a very small crowd, but they could have gotten into it. And instead, Sockers not only get the goal, but then they get a power play. Good save by Pollo. Don't get a goal on the initial power play. They get it on a second power play. And within this, once again, they thought this was a very obvious foul against Craig Childs. Player falls down on his own, Darren Mitchell.
They still called the foul. They took the blue card back, right? But
yeah,
they still kept the foul, which I don't think he even touched them.
I don't think he did either. And if he did, it was completely inadvertent. But great use of the challenge flag by Phil Silvaggio. Phil, over the course of the year, I want to give him a lot of credit. We've talked so much, and we talk about it on our home broadcasts, about the poker match that is your one and only challenge. And I feel like he's used it at critical moments all year. And this was one of those moments. It was a power play for San Diego that was about to turn into a power play for Mesquite instead in a 3-1 game. And it was also the wrong call. And so he didn't waste it. Right there, Escoto wasted a chance. Pollo bit for the fake again. Unfortunately, Escoto went through with the pass that time. If he stayed with it, he would have passed the ball into the net a second straight time on Pollo Cortez. But yeah, great work, I thought, by Phil on the challenge flag, using the right spot. And then Sockers get a 6-man power play, and they score immediately. So Mesquite's first penalty, San Diego can't score. Then they give them one for too many men on the floor, and the Sockers score right away with Leo getting his one goal of the series right here.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it in the chat come in right now. A lot of people saying it, so I'm going to bring it up. Apparently, according to the announcers during this game, it was the reason that card was pulled back on Charles was because he was complaining to the refs the entire time that he was in the box. And we are, I think we're called veterans at some point, veterans of complaining at this game. So that is, at the end of the day, what makes us so good is we know when to complain and when not to. That was very interesting to hear. But again, we just kept piling it on, right? And as much as you can think or say some of these things that I was hearing, there was no coming back from this. And Childs put on a freaking masterclass during this game too, of what we can do when we have the ball. And
correct.
Look at this. Look at that goal. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, give him a space, and
too much space.
He'll destroy you. Right there. Yeah, Ramirez, the young defender, gave him 2 steps. Forget about it.
No, I mean,
And
they
then
spoiled Craig.
early in the fourth quarter, here's just classic target. Just be there. Just be there in the middle. That's the kind of goal that Taiyu scores 25 times a year. Just be there in the middle. Someone gets you the ball, turn on it, bump, bump, goal. And that's just being a target forward. Craig, at this point in the match, having to play a heavier load as he did the next game because Tavoy Morgan went down right after scoring his second goal on a tackle by Mesquite and didn't return and then didn't play the very next match. So Childs takes a little bit more of the scoring load, and this is what the veteran saves himself for every postseason, Jerry. It's this time. He knows. It's winning time now. Guy's got 6 rings.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they know what they need to do. And then huge error there by Pollo. You do not give the ball to Rojo with an empty net from anywhere. And they made him pay. And here we are now, 7-1. And it just kept coming. There was just too many open spaces. Mesquite just really was not 100% on the night. You could see it with as much space. And there's another one. I mean, silly. I mean, what else was he going to do, I guess? But
it's very cynical is all it is.
So
the way
cynical.
he did it and hanging on to the back of his jersey like that, there is a potential for injury. They gave Pollo the blue plus yellow. I truly believe that the way that call was adjudicated was with an eye to the series in terms of we don't want to red card Pollo out of game 2. But there's a lot of worlds in which that would have been a red card. And then right there, as the ball is restarted, you could kind of see it in the bottom of the frame. Pollo actually hops out the back of the penalty box and he walks off the field, which is in the rule books. And you see right there, the soccer's complaining about it. That's a red card.
That's what they were pointing at.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what
they were pointing at Pollo for jumping out the back of the penalty box and walking out the back of the arena. And there he goes.
I love that at least the camera wasn't, away from him and actually showed him leaving. I was trying to understand that too. I didn't really understand that until right now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And now I can see the frustration and what everybody was saying in the chat too. And we were having some conversations as well. You don't do that. I mean, regardless of how terrible of a game you're having or have had, or you feel like you were done wrong, whatever it is, that is really poor sportsmanship by Pollo. I'm sorry, but wow. I'm surprised he even got to play that second game.
Look, if it was a soccer, he would have been suspended.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. If it was Craig Childs, he would have been suspended. If it was Boris Pardo, he would have been suspended. If it was Brandon Escoto, he would have been suspended for 3 games. And it was Pollo, and he got nothing. And whatever. I don't want to see him get suspended for the second game. I'm not looking to take a pint of blood out of Pollo. I mean, look what the Sockers wound up doing. I think that's what you want to do. I'm just saying the facts. I'm just saying what other people are thinking but don't want to say. If it was one of the Sockers, they would have been suspended. It wasn't, and they weren't. Doesn't matter. And Marleesh is exactly right. If Pollo had been red carded, everyone would have said, oh, look at that. The Sockers pouted. The Sockers got their way. The DRC has San Diego in their pocket, which we know is absolutely the opposite of the truth. And San Diego, what could we say about it, right? So instead, we just move on to Sunday and to match 2. And I said it on the broadcast, and I'll say it right here as the highlights start to roll. Gigantic shout out. Spencer Ishii, Ezra Burdett, Sonora, Jenny. Our tickets department did a whale of a job. They had 3 days, really 3 days, to sell to an Easter Sunday game. Had no groups. How can you get a group to come out on Easter Sunday at 5 o'clock on 3 days' notice? None. They had none. And they were still able to get 1,000 people to come to this match. And I think that's awesome. And I think it wound up being like 1,400 tickets out. And that's just incredible job by the ticketing department, because this was truly the single hardest challenge I think we've had in the history of the Sockers to try and sell this match. Sockers get the 1-0 lead courtesy of the Cerda goal running over on the Leo loose ball. That was the score after 15 minutes. That's where the score held, just like the Friday match. 1-0 after 15 minutes. Boris Pardo making a very nice save along the way. And it was just a matter of time, wasn't it, Jerry? I mean, I think you saw it from the very first quarter. Mesquite, and we even had, Melissa May had it in her, as you see, a great opportunity here. Good save by Pollo. This was the fourth flight for Mesquite from Saturday of the week prior to Easter Sunday. They had played 4 matches in that time. I think they were completely exhausted and had nothing left for this match.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that this one was going to be really rough for Mesquite, and obviously we had a couple of injuries as well during the game and before the game, during the game. So we were not 100% there, but I mean, in comparison, there was no comparison, right? I mean, we came off right away with that beautiful goal from our captain Cesar Cerda, and then we get that second goal. And it was just after that, you could see it in the way that they were playing. Mesquite was just not going to be able to do much. And I think at this point already, even in my mind, and I don't know how anybody else felt, let us know in the chat, but it felt almost like, all right, now I think these guys are going to be playing for that, for that 5-0, 6-0, 7-0.
Yeah.
Ended up being something else. They were going to start looking for that shootout or shout out, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
I think I do. Yeah. Shutout. Yeah. Shutout. The word I wouldn't say until the final horn because I was in hockey for 3 years.
You don't say
and,
it, but it was
and
in
I
here.
know better. Oh my God. The first time I did that with the Gulls, man, you don't think I heard about it from like 5 different people. I was like, okay, got it. You never say the word shutout until it happens or until you give up a goal and you say the shutout's over. That is also acceptable. Luis Morales, I will say, at 2-0, hit the crossbar twice. And he's a really talented young man. He's 21 years old. Rookie of the year, comes back second year, helps lead his team into the playoffs. Future's great for this member of the U.S. futsal national team, Luis Morales. If those 2 goals go in and it's 2-2, at least you're going to see what's left on the candle. How much wax is left on the candle for Mesquite. I think when those balls went off the crossbar, Jerry, and then the Sockers got their 3rd goal at the end, right here, after a power play to get to 3-0, I think this is right at that moment is where Mesquite's just done. Now the flames snuffed out. There's nothing left.
I don't think that they came into this game with any sort of energy whatsoever. Even at this point, and this was kind of the last straw for them, I think. But even before this, like you said, maybe the Luis Morales crossbars, one of those goes in, and maybe something wakes them up. That wakes them up. But I don't know. There was just something about this game. It didn't feel like the Mesquite we saw against Tacoma. It didn't feel like they were all there. I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the way that Pollo, kind of left them. I don't know what was happening there, but we just took advantage of it and kept doing what we had to do. We kept our heads on, and in comes Captain Craig Childs and does what he does and puts in number 4.
He does, and it comes on a Guerrero Pino long assist. And if you listen back to my call on Twitch, I said, will this be Guerrero's goal? Because Pino told me right before warm-ups, he said, hey, radio man, my mom's here. Because he knows, like I know, that every time that his mom's in the stands, he usually scores. And right there, he didn't score, but what a pass.
Yeah.
I mean, try to make that pass 100 times and see how many times you get it to lay right to your forward's feet with 5 seconds left in the match. And Pino gets the job done here. Crazy assist. It's a point for Mama instead of a goal. He gets another one to Childs, of course, on the 7th goal, which is Childs' sickest goal of the whole year. And 4-0 at the half. And, yeah, it's just, Mesquite has nothing left. And really, even at this point, we're starting to think more, I think, Jerry, about the 0 than about the 4. third quarter is where Boris Prado was put to the test. 3 different diving saves. You just saw the first one right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he did have a few. They had a few opportunities, right? They still had, and I think, to be fair, San Diego gave them those opportunities because of how hard they were pressing as well. But when Mesquite came up to it, and I mean, we have our defense there to protect any sort of mistake up front, and they did try, and nothing was happening at this point, right? And then in comes the 5th goal and the 3rd, and it just again that was the second one for Cerda on the night.
I appreciate Easy Money mentioning it. I appreciated hearing some MVP chants for Boris.
That's right.
When he made those saves. He sets up that counterattack you just saw for goal number 5 with his distribution. Also, guy with RPG, want to mention that as well. Incredible to see Amira Ali and Jaden Shaw and Mia Zhao out at the match. San Diego Wave FC stars coming out to support indoor soccer. I'll put it that way, to support indoor soccer. I won't say who left the tickets for them and who they accepted the tickets from, but we hope we've made some Sockers fans. And I know, Jerry, I think we're intending to give you some jerseys to hand out to those young ladies.
Absolutely.
To get them on the team.
We will do that. No, I hope they enjoyed themselves, and they got to see 8 beautiful goals from San Diego. So there you have it.
But also, there you have Boris Prado, the true test to the shutout, the blue card, the shootout blue card, which was a little bit sketchy. Nonetheless, same guy, Ortiz, same situation, shootout, but Boris did not give up the right side of the net the way that Xavier did on that shootout play. Forced Ortiz to go and shoot for the near post, and he missed wide. Classic veteran stuff. Sockers really controlled the ball for over a minute of the power play. Give up nothing, had a shorthanded chance themselves, and really right there, quite a good one for San Diego. Actually, one that I'd say sort of kind of should have scored for the hat trick right there. But this is truly where you just felt like the Sockers are the boss. Varsity, junior varsity type situation. Pardo staying extremely brave throughout all of this. And I do want to mention, in the first quarter, Pardo took an elbow from George DeLeon of Mesquite to the side of his head. As you know, Jerry, before we started our post-match interview, he had me feel the bump on the side of his head, that it was still there. So, it's the second time we've seen him take a knock in a game in Ontario. It didn't go that great, but right in this match, as you remember, he got up after being attended to. He had some salty words. He worked blue toward David Ortiz. He had some blue words for David Ortiz. Oh my God, Giles, what a goal. And from that moment, he was invincible. He was just absolutely invincible. So, big appreciations to Boris Pardo. And this is the Child's highlight reel portion of this sizzle film.
Oh, yeah. What a goal. What a golazo. This is a true golazo right here. Look at this. Just beautifully placed ball, top left corner. Defense.
Look at this angle from TVX. You see it. Look, you see what he sees. He sees the corner. He just has to put it there. Imagine knowing that you could put it in the corner with the pace necessary. That's Craig Giles.
Beautiful.
That's pretty good at this thing.
Playoff Craig in full mode right now.
Hilariously, twice in the fourth quarter, I tried to say the Sockers aren't going to try to score. They're going to try and possess the ball. And each time they, literally tried to score within a half second of me saying it. Once it was over the top to Rojo. I think that is coming up here. Yeah, there you go. Great chance.
Almost.
That was the first time. The second time is this upcoming Pino pass to Craig Giles. Look at this goal.
Jeez.
Are you kidding me?
What is that even?
First time.
Pino
out of the air.
You just love to see those goals, but my goodness.
This is look at all of the execution necessary to score a goal like this. Across 2 lines and half of the attacking zone, taken out of the air first time on a half volley, and not just placed, smashed smashed so hard that the ball's ricocheting around in the net. Not dissimilar to the finals winning goal last year against Florida, but I think actually even more fearsome and more just remarkable, that Child's goal. That's an all-timer right there.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. And then we have to obviously give a shout out to Xavier Snare-Williams, who came in the fourth quarter, and brilliant save there as well, stepping up. You know, he has told us before that he's still working on feeling comfortable, feeling that like he belongs sometimes. There was this moment that he felt that he belonged the last game when he had a save, and then this one just kind of solidified it, why he's here. And, what Victor Melendez and everybody else in that staff sees in him and why he's here with us. It's just beautifully saved ball. And then Escoto doing Branding Escoto. How does he find that corner?
I have no idea.
Again, the spaces, right? Like, don't give us any space because we are going to find it. And there it is. Wow.
And you know what? We talked about it on last week's show. The fact that the Sockers put Xavier Snare-Williams into that Tacoma match in the fourth quarter surprised him with the entry into the match. I think it paid dividends here to keep this shutout alive. I think he has now seen the fire of playoff action, 2 matches in a row, right? Because he got thrown in for the shootout. He got thrown in for Tacoma. When he gets put in here, he makes the huge save to keep that shutout alive. And believe me, I told him down in the Stella Lounge later how important that save was. It was his one save, but there's no shutout. Yeah. That one save keeps the shutout. And yeah, Boris gets a lot of flowers for this shutout. Very, very deservedly so. But if X doesn't make that save, it's not a shutout. And then it's kind of a real bummer for Xavier, is the dude who didn't keep the shutout alive. So
it's crazy
big ups.
Yeah, and actually, Boris Pardo mentioned it was good that he got to share that with Xavier, right? With X, because they obviously Boris earned that shutout, but X kept it, so he earned that shutout too. So yeah, it was great to see. It was good to hear Boris be very proud of him as well, and good performance all around. I think it was just too much for Mesquite, and we continue to see that. It's just, when we're rolling in all cylinders, we're unstoppable. And I think we've mentioned it a few times now. It's this championship is, pretty much ours to lose at this point. Like we're just on a roll right now. Obviously, knock on wood, with the injuries and all that stuff, we want to make sure that we're still, continue to be all right. But I'm still like so confused about the fact that we still don't know in the East who's going to be playing in their semifinal and all this stuff, which maybe we can get into after we talk to Juan.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in MASL News. Right now we've got our special guest waiting to join us, and I am excited to welcome for the second straight year to the show a man who has worked hard to stay on this roster, to stay a part of the conversation, and now he is once again a part of the playoff starting lineup for the San Diego Sockers. He is one of your midfielders that is out there doing the hard work to keep shutouts alive. Juan Gonzalez is joining us tonight here on Sockers Overtime, live on Twitch. Juan, it's your old pals, Craig and Jerry here. Thanks for waiting for us. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for hanging out.
No, of course, anytime. It's a pleasure always being on here. Appreciate the invite, guys. How's everything?
Good, man. Exciting,
it's good and
exciting weekend.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, exciting weekend so far for everybody, obviously in our community, and yeah, I'm excited to keep it going too. And we get a little bit of a break finally. It feels like, kinda, sort of, but not really, But it's good. It's good to be back here, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I'll start
That's
this
good.
off,
Yeah,
Craig. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're breaking up a tiny bit, but hopefully you can hear me. I was gonna say, Craig, I'll start this off if you don't mind.
Please.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. We were just talking about Mesquite and just taking care of them. Taking care of business. What are your thoughts on how this set of games went against Mesquite?
Obviously, when you're going into the Mesquite game, that it was going to be a tough game. We had a rough loss against them in the middle of the season. Obviously, things got out of hand. There was extracurricular activities. It is what it is. So we knew that going into this playoff game against them, it was going to be the same, if not tougher. They came off of a great win against Tacoma. They had, a good game there. So they had the momentum going into the game against us. So, I mean, they're a young group. They work hard as well. So without a doubt, we knew it was going to be a dogfight. We knew that. So, I mean, we went into the game confident as well. We said, hey, we can come out of this game on top, but we just got to make sure that we're running on all cylinders. And the only way we can lose this game is that if we make those mistakes. And
It's
so, I
funny,
mean,
Juan. Oh, I was just going to say, we were together on Wednesday night at that watch party, right? We had a team watch party for the play-in game. And I remember I was talking to somebody in the Front Wave Arena front office prior to the game, and he was saying, like, well, what do you think? Tacoma, Mesquite, and at the time, I remember saying to him, Tacoma's the favorite. I kind of feel like it's Mesquite. From a schedule standpoint, I wanted Mesquite. And then I said to him, but, Mesquite's a wild card. Like, they're the kind of team, we went there, we lost. I don't know. I don't know how we match up. And then I just watched you guys watching that match. And I saw the collective attitude and the business-like veteran, hey, it's the new season. It's time to go to work. It's time to get down to business. And I left the Calafino Lounge that night going, Mesquite has no chance. And you wind up rolling an aggregate of 15-1. How impressed are you with the way that this team is able to kind of flip that switch and get into playoff mode?
definitely a good thing about this team. I mean, we're watching, like you said, we're watching that game Wednesday night. We don't know who we're playing against. Usually, you're like, oh, we have 5 6 days. We know who we're playing. So we can kind of work up until that game during practice, right? At this point, we didn't know that. We had no idea. It just went from Wednesday night being at the lounge, watching the game with other guys, and it's like, all right, guys, get home, pack your things. We're leaving tomorrow at 10 a.m. You know, so that's it's a little bit different, but just the fact, like you said, that we are able to turn it around, and we knew, hey, the season's over. Now we're starting a brand new season. Okay, so it's time to get it together, work hard, work for each other, and that's what we did. And just the fact that we were able to only keep them to 1 goal in 2 games is really, really good. And I felt like we just worked extremely hard for that, and for the scores, and for Boris, and for Xavier, which, I mean, as a team overall, it was just defensively, we were extremely, extremely solid. And everybody did their job. We all worked for each other. The vibe was extremely positive on and off the field. And it's always been like that all season. Obviously, we have ups and downs and things happen, but there's just being able to stick together. And I think we've been able to do that inside of the locker, and I think that makes a really, really good difference on the field as well.
One of the things too that we've seen kind of going through the season and then now going into the playoffs, more and more how solid the defense has looked in the playoffs. I mean, we've said it this entire season, and we all know this defense wins championships. But I've gotten now the honor and pleasure of seeing somebody like Boris Pardo organize the team in the back. And, I hear him screaming out and kind of being on everybody and making sure everybody knows where other people are at. And it's so cool to see the defense and Pardo work together. I'm just wondering what you think makes Pardo such a good organizer back there, and just kind of your thoughts on that.
His passion, his fire. You see him on the field, and he's, like you said, he's yelling at us. He's talking to us, and when he's yelling at us, obviously he's got to raise his voice. It's so hard to hear sometimes. We're so focused on something, and he's got to make sure that we can hear him. His ability to communicate with us, just the way he keeps it positive with us as well. I mean, we've all made mistakes. We've all made mistakes to where we have, cost the team a goal. And just the fact for him to just be like, hey, don't worry about it. let it go, drop it, we're moving on. It's behind us already. That happened 5 seconds ago. Keep moving forward. And I think that helps us a lot. No, I know it helps us a lot. Sorry, I'll change that. It helps us a lot. Just mentally for us, it's upgrading so much. It's really, really good for us. I mean, obviously we feel bad, but hey, we still have the rest of the game to be played. And for Boris to just like be able to brush it off, even though it was sometimes our fault, whoever's fault it may have been, he's always like, move forward. It happened. Hey, you learn from this. Don't let it happen again. Keep it going. We have the rest of the game to go, and it's okay. Keep going. Everything's fine. And it just the way he, like I said, the way he communicates is awesome. We're on the field or watching a player. Sometimes we lose track of our player. Hey, Juan. Hey, Cerda. Hey, Mitchell. Pino. And even when I'm just playing up top, in the midfield, I can still hear him, even though he's not talking to me. So that motivates us a lot, and it keeps us pushing forward. Keeps us working hard for the team and everybody else as well.
That's one of the things that we've been talking about, Craig, is that's the kind of stuff that you can't write in stats. And why, again, a big reason why we have all been campaigning Boris for MVP. I know the votes are in or whatever, but we will still continue to do that because we have to shine a light on what a fantastic leader he has been, throughout this entire season. And honestly, like I said, I've heard some of the things he says, and it fires me up, man. And I'm not even playing, and I'm like, I'm ready to put on a jersey and go in there. It's just that's the kind of person that he is. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that we highlight that too, because I mean, it showed up this whole weekend, right? That's what we're talking about. 15-1 doesn't happen without Boris.
No, not at all. I mean, that first game in Mesquite, I mean, he's just nonstop talking and talking and talking and communicating and just being super positive with us. And I mean, even after they scored that goal on us, whatever, it was a shootout, But hey, turned it around. Second half, came out on fire, left that behind us. And unfortunately, it wasn't a 7-0. We wanted a 7-0. But hey, we got in the second game. And I guess we can't complain about a 15-1 in 2 games, right?
7-0.
No, not at all. You can't complain. I think that's pretty good. If we score 15 goals to your 1 every time,
I'll take it.
It's gonna be tough. So Jerry, I'm gonna combine 2 questions in our run of show here to ask Juan, because you're a guy who has played for us, has played against us. You've been in San Diego, you've been in Turlock, you've been in Ontario. You've seen it from both sides. And last week, I thought it was really cool. At practice, there was a conversation after training that you and I had with Horacio, who is a young guy who's here and has been training with us the last few weeks. And by the way, Horacio is going to be a guest on the show, I think, next week. Jerry, I think we'll slot him in between matches, but he's been here the whole time. He's used to being on TV. He's used to being like kind of a little bit more highlighted, whether it's on MTV or whether it's on Telemundo. He's used to being a little bit more in the spotlight. He's had an impossible time trying to crack the egg that is the San Diego Sockers. You've had to fight your way multiple times in your career kind of back into the lineup, back into the good graces to be that regular, to be written down. So I think you're uniquely qualified to answer the question. What makes it so hard for people to come to this club and succeed and find a spot?
Oh, I mean, you've got to be mentally strong here. If you see the depth of the team, anybody here can be a starter and play 60 minutes on any other team in this league without a doubt, and we talked about it. I mean, it shows when we went to Chihuahua and Monterey with 6 players that didn't go, and to be able to come out with 2 wins, that says a lot of the depth of the team. It really does. You've got to be mentally strong here. The depth of the team, like I said, you may play sometimes, you may not play some of the times. You continuously and every day got to keep keep fighting for a spot on that starting lineup every day at practice, every day at practice. I mean, you may have to wait 3 games, 5 games, 6 games. You may play one, and then you're off for 3, 4 games, and then you're out back on for another one. And I think for some people, I think mentally, if you're not strong and able to move forward with that and just kind of stick with it, uh, some people don't do very well with that. They don't. And I think here we've been able to do that. Some players can do that, and some people can don't. It's just like that everywhere. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to play here. And I think you come into San Diego, and people expect you to do the same thing you did somewhere else. But you got to remember that there's 15 other players that are at the same level as you are as well. So now it comes down to that 1 or 2% differences of that will make a difference. It's the small details and sometimes go back to the basics, which will make a big difference in the long run.
Yeah, you mentioned Chihuahua and having so many players missing and still being able to pull out a result. And, well, here we go again, now going to Chihuahua. It's very close calls on both of the games that we played this season against them during the regular season, right? It was a 6-4, and then we have that 9-8. What are your thoughts looking ahead to Chihuahua and playing at Corner Sports Arena coming up here on the 18th?
Honestly, I think we kind of expected Chihuahua to be the team for us to play, without a doubt. Monterrey last night definitely gave them a good scare. They gave them a run for their money. Could have gone either way. But I think in the back of our minds throughout the season, we kind of figured it was going to be a round 2 of last year, So, I mean, we're ready. We're ready. We were able to go this season and beat them there at their field, which speaks a lot in terms of the team and the depth and how we're doing. We definitely know it's going to be hard. That field, that Corner Sport, we know it's a difficult field, without a doubt. We're not going there knowing or thinking we're going to blow them out. If it happens, that would be great. But that's a difficult task, honestly. With just, one thing is the field. They know it a little bit more than us. So there's obviously more shots, a little bit more intense. But I feel like the team, a lot of us talked about it today. Our practice, came up in conversations. So we're like, hey, we're playing Chihuahua. And a lot of the guys seem very calm and very positive about being able to go out there and, try and come back with a W. Nobody seems stressed or worried, and we know it's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible, right?
Nice.
And no matter what, you have the second bite of the apple. You have home floor advantage. You've earned it with the outstanding season that this club has had. So Corner Sport Arena can't beat you by itself. And last year, the team lost in overtime down there and came back and took care of business up here. So I know that confidence is there. I am so excited for this series. It starts a week from tonight that you will be down in Mexico at Corner Sport Arena, and we will be together at a watch party cheering you on. Juan, great stuff, man. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for your patience and coming on. Really appreciate you. We'll see you out at practice this week, and best of luck down in Mexico.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. Thanks for having me, and hope you guys have a good time.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. There's Juan
Thank you,
Gonzalez. Great stuff. Really cool guy, man. You can just tell what a great teammate he is to have someone, a veteran like that, who's been through so many seasons, through the wars, that's kind of there as your, fifth midfielder, as the guy that's running out there, taking care of the dirty work, doing the defense, tracking back, making sure that counterattacks don't come to fruition for the opponent. He's such an important part of the team, and he's not going to show up big on the score sheet, but he shows up big as part of a team that's now, last 2 years he's here, 23-0, 22-2.
Yeah, one of the things that kind of stood out to me, and we've been seeing throughout the last couple of years with the Sockers, is if you want to make it in this squad, you cannot be selfish. You have to know that you have a role to play, and when you're called up and asked to play that role, everybody on this team seems to know that it's I'm here to do this role. They know their role, and then when they're asked, they do it, and that's why this team has become so confident and so good to to watch and to just like see them interact with each other. Like this is everybody fits in. Everybody knows their role again, as I mentioned, and Juan is one of those people, and just absolutely awesome person to get to talk to, and he has so much insight, like you said. So it's always good to have him. And yeah, man, I'm really excited. And I'm excited to hear that nobody's worried, that nobody feels like, and I mean, maybe reassurance, because I think we all in the back of our heads kind of know that from this squad, right, Craig? That they're not worried about going into Chihuahua. We take care of business, but it's a little bit of reassurance there for everybody that, these guys feel the same way, that we know we can take care of business in Chihuahua. And I was looking at the scores. Chihuahua's been kind of up and down, man. It depends. Like, do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game? It's like a flip of the coin at this point with Chihuahua.
It's going to be a high-scoring game because Chihuahua gives up goals.
Yeah.
I mean, Chihuahua gave up 12 goals last night.
Yeah.
And they advanced, but they gave up 12 goals. They gave up 9 goals to Mesquite. And the Sockers, of course, gave up 1 in 2 games. So it's going to be a high-scoring game. Corner Sport Arena is a pinball field. The Savage know how to take advantage. The Sockers know how to take advantage for the most part. And I think it's going to be, take the over, whatever the Bet Fred line is. If you happen to be in Maryland or Colorado or Arizona, I'd say take the over on the Sockers and the Savage. But as we kind of transition into MASL news, let's work backward. I mean, what a series it was between the Savage and the Flash. I think it's what we expected. And I would say, Jerry, that as Empire is to us, Monterey is to Chihuahua. The Flash aren't the best team in the league, but when they play the Savage, they play their very, very best. And that was the third game at Corner Sport Arena that the Flash either won or took to overtime. I mean, I thought they were incredible in that second half of match 2, beating Chihuahua 10-7.
Yeah, not at all what I was expecting, right, from this game. I think when you go into Corner Sports, you're always going to bet on the house. But my goodness, like Monterrey really, really showed what they could do. And like Juan said, they gave them a good scare. They gave Chihuahua a really good scare there. Monterrey came in knowing that they were already 1 down, lost at home. I mean, we knew that was possible too. But these guys, when they battle each other, oh my gosh, I love it. It is so much fun to watch, and they really do give it their all. And this was no exception, right? Going into this game, I knew it was going to be a fun game. I could not keep my eyes off of it because you just never knew what you were going to miss if you turned around for a second. It was just such a fun game of back and forth. And yeah, hey, at the end of the day, it goes into the third game. Chihuahua takes it. But I think, I don't know if I felt like they were deserving of that win at that point.
That's fair. I mean, I think Monterey at least equally deserved the result.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Chihuahua went to Arena Monterrey and won 8-4. So they earned the right to lay an egg on their home floor and to get a second bite of the apple. That's kind of the flip side of the knockout game is if you are that home team and you win on the road, look, we're going to have another example of it we'll talk about in like 2 minutes. You can play badly, even Baltimore, horribly, even Baltimore, shamefully, and still come back out, and the game 3 score is 0-0. Yeah. It's not -13 or -3. It's 0-0. And I think it was very resilient of Chihuahua to play so bad and then come out and get to 2-0 and take the lead, play really sharp, finish their chances. They had their stars show up. Puentes showed up in the knockout game. Torres showed up in the knockout game. Popper showed up. These are the guys that you need to win. And it's really hard to win twice on someone's floor in the same night. And I think that's what the Flash encountered.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But again, it was so tight, right? 3-2. Chihuahua was still giving up 2 goals in 15 minutes. So that goes to show that you can't you can definitely score on Chihuahua, and there's a lot of work that they still need to figure out as far as their defense goes. That second game really showed it, and obviously it's only 15 minutes, but just based off of that 10-7 scoreline, it was just really interesting. And you know what was really more interesting than even this one is the fact that this happened twice. It goes into, 2 games go into the third game at home after the home team won away the game before. It was just really like, what is happening right now? Especially interesting was the score of the second game in Florida and Baltimore. Craig.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? What was that?
I mean, clearly at some point very early in the third quarter, Baltimore said,
Game 3.
all
let's
right,
go."
exactly. And unfortunately, there was like 28 minutes of game left at that point. And the officials were unwilling just to wave it off. And so Florida just kept pouring in goals. But I have never seen in my life a team lose 14-1. I mean, just like I've seen a team lose 14-1, like the Sacramento Surge, the Turlock Cal Express. I've seen the El Paso
In the
Coyotes
playoffs?
the year they folded. But
In
no,
the playoffs?
a playoff. Of course, I've seen Baltimore lose, I think it was 15-2 in the MISL finals on CBS in 1985. So Baltimore getting their asses absolutely kicked at home. There is some historical precedent to it in the playoffs, but nonetheless, 14-1, and then to come back and, oh, well, Lucas Roque couldn't play in match 2 because he got a red card in match 1. Okay, so Roque was the entire difference. He was 13 goals different. No, I want
you're
to
not
say
gonna
it this
go.
way. Yeah, thank you, Eddie. 14-2, not 15-2. Florida.
Oh, look at who it was against. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. And by the way, Kelsey, okay, just to let you know,
Look,
during the
goofball.
COVID summers, we did #the championships on Twitter. I've got these giant books, and I went through all of Eddie's videos, and we went like game by game. So that's why I know it was 14-2. Steve Jungle had 7 points in that game, by the way, or maybe it was 8 points, 7 assists.
Jeez.
That's why I know, not because I was that old. I was 13 when that game happened, Kelsey. I'm old. I'm not that old, okay? I'm old. I'm not that old.
Wow. We used to like you, Kelsey, but you're being mean.
Yeah. You were nice. It was nice to meet you. It was nice. But not anymore. But yeah, I mean, no, I'm coming back to the other side. Florida. Hey, Florida. How are you not in the conference finals? How do you let Baltimore off the hook after you beat them 14-1? I mean,
My goodness.
I'm embarrassed. And the Tropics got their just desserts. Tropics weren't supposed to make it to the finals after all the crap they pulled this year. And, they pulled it together a little bit toward the end, but forget them, man. They're out. They're gone. And they went out kind of as a chump, honestly. Beating a team 14-1 on the road and then losing 10 minutes later, like, ugh. So,
That was bad.
Goodbye, Tropics. See you never. Hope you're not okay.
I mean, Roque came in also just on fire for that third game.
Yeah. I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
Good
that was
player.
that was a silly thing. I'm sorry, but like the fact that he didn't get to play that second match. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into that, but it is what it is. Like you guys know, Roque doesn't make up for 13 goals, as Craig mentioned. So there's that. It was just I would put that on Florida 100%, but Baltimore getting the job done. And here we are. Now we wait to find out. Is it Wave? Is it Utica?
Right? It's going to be a minute because they just played the play-in game yesterday. But what a game it was. What a fun game that was. And honestly, this was like literally the result I expected. I didn't say, what was it, 7-6 or 6-5? It was one of those two. But I didn't say the score, but I kind of thought a come from behind last minute or overtime Utica victory against Kansas City felt like the right result for these two teams and the season they had. And sure enough, I think Utica is just one of the cool stories of this season. Everton shaking things up mid-season, the moves they made, getting Taylor Bond was really big for their team and added, I think, just a little bit of what they needed, getting Darren Toby back, trading for Mijatovic. All of those moves worked, and Utica has moved on. And ex-soccer Christian Segura, really nice goal in overtime.
Man. What a goal from Segura. Yeah, that was beautiful. And, yeah, it felt right. I think after watching that game, first of all, it's great to watch a game that fun and not have a horse in the race because you can enjoy that much more. But, you know, and then Segura goes and scores the goal. Who, by the way, we traded to Utica because of Ubi Peripovic. And look at Segura now. Now we see where, you know, who won that trade. I'm sorry, but Utica absolutely won that one.
Utica won the trade. Utica won that trade going away.
Absolutely. Man, but again, what a great game that was. It was so much fun. Kansas City, bummer for them. I think that they had, you know, some very positives throughout the season. It just was not enough. And, yeah, you brought up Mijatovic. I think that move for Utica was fantastic.
Dude, for Kansas City, the number 10 that they brought in right at the end of the year, the foreign futsal veteran, I have to look up his name. It was kind of a Swedish-sounding name, but he was awesome. The goal he scored, I mean, and for a guy to come into a team at the end of the year and take number 10, like, tells you he thinks a lot about himself, right? But he had a goal, I think it was the equalizer for Kansas City, where he drove it right-footed, brought it down his own rebound, and scored it left-footed, and both shots were a rocket. Like,
his first name
was a nice pickup.
Mads. I don't even want to say this wrong. The spelling is Falck.
I think they said Falky, Falk or Falky. Yeah.
Okay.
He was good. Like, I hadn't seen him play yet this season. He came in very much at the end of the season, but I liked him. I think obviously Reggett, you know, if they stick with Reggett, they'll have themselves a target for years to come. I saw Reggett signed with Villita FC.
That's right.
Along with Torres. So Villita FC just collecting all the good forwards in the league. It sounds like it's
Powerhouse.
a Childs Torres Reggett forward group.
Yeah, Porto in the back. Can't do much better than that.
Leo in the middle. Sarda's on, I know. Like, they've got Cardenas is on. Villita FC, man, they could win the soccer tournament. They could win it.
With the experience that they have so far, my goodness. It's fantastic.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun in June. But, yeah, great win for Utica. You know, Kansas City, well done. You know, well done. Really representative. Really exciting to see that match. I think all the playoffs have been, other than, sorry to say it, Mesquite, I think it's been really, really good so far. And Mesquite had their flowers beating Tacoma. So Tacoma's the team that's had it the worst. Nick getting shut out at home in his own play-in game. That was pretty tough. But I think the playoffs have been terrific so far. And interesting stuff to come, because remember, on Thursday, Milwaukee will host Utica in match 1 of the other side of the East, and then Utica gets home field. They'll get match 2 and the match 3 if needed. So my last question is, can Utica pull this off? Can they beat Wave?
Wait, so that's right. We did mention this. So Wave will be playing in Utica both games.
No, they'll get game 1 at home, but it's it's just like,
so it's switched.
It's just like Utica's the 1 and Milwaukee's the 4.
Oh my goodness. Yep. So they still gave up their home field advantage, though. That's the well, they didn't give it up. Scheduling, again, the scheduling is such a problem. It's so unfair to Wave. It's gonna be really interesting. But then again, also, I mean, if you're gonna win it regardless of where you play. So we're gonna get to see if Wave can pull it off. I think it's a really interesting matchup between these two, Craig. It's going to be a really interesting game because, you know, you see the power that Wave has with Ian Bennett and, you know, some of their veterans, and Utica with a team that now seems to be whole. That seems to be where they need it to be. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting.
If it was the other way around, I'd say Milwaukee every time. If Milwaukee had game 2 at home, I'd say Milwaukee every time.
Yeah.
For Kelsey, I'll say still Milwaukee, but I think it's going to be tough. I really do, and I very much think it could come to the third game. I really do. I could see it go win at home, third game, knockout game, what happens. And maybe it comes down to Ian doing a great goal, or maybe it comes down to a late set piece or something like that, because it's tough. It's going to be a tough series, and I've felt all of the way through that home field was going to just kind of carry the East. I was planning on just picking home field through the East, and then they had this situation where Milwaukee gave it up, and I'm like, can I really do that? Can I put Utica over Milwaukee? It's hard, but Utica is the team with best form in the East right now, so I won't be surprised if it happens. I'll pick Milwaukee, but I won't be surprised if it goes the other way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either, but I still have to go with Milwaukee too, and not just because Kelsey's in here, our good friend, but I think just in the, I'm looking at the season as a whole, and then where they are now as a team. I feel like Milwaukee has a bit of an edge, not much, but I do think they have that bit of an edge. That is going to get them through and into the final game. It's going to be interesting. And by final game, I still think that Wave is going to take it even against Blast. If we're looking that forward into the future. But I don't know. We'll see.
I love you trying to pull back Kelsey's affection there with your last comments.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it back.
Kelsey's on my team. It's okay, Parker. She doesn't need to love us equally.
No, it's fine. She can love Craig more.
Fine.
That's fine. Whatever. Yeah.
It's fine. It's completely okay. All right, let's wrap up with some scheduling. Again, the 18th will be match 1 of our series. It'll be at 7:00 our time from Corner Sport Arena, so a week from tonight. So let's start with something obvious. Soccer's Overtime will not air next Tuesday.
No.
At 5:00 because there will be a match that night, and we will have a watch party for this match. It will not be at Calafino because Calafino is double booked that night. And Jake and the Calafino staff send their regrets. So we kind of think it'll be at the Dana. I texted Easy, Ezra Burdett, earlier. As of 4:45, she didn't have confirmation on that. So we think it might be at the Dana, but it might not be at the Dana. It might be at a place like Fair Play. There will be a watch party somewhere in this county that we will put on for the Sockers and Savage. And yes, Kay Vibbert is asking the question, we will do an English language broadcast for match 1 of the Sockers and Savage. Are we going to do it on site? Probably.
Maybe?
I mean, it was definitely when it was at Calafino.
Yeah, there's a
and
few
we were
things
going to
up in
call it
there.
off the video wall. We got to figure it out. So there's a couple things we got to figure out. So stay tuned. All y'all are following us on social at San Diego Sockers on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. We will be updating this probably by tomorrow. As we record this on Tuesday night, probably by tomorrow we'll have something official. And again, probably it'll be the Dana. They haven't locked that in yet. But they've got multiple places, as you know, within that facility to host a watch party. So whether it's where we've been before, whether it's the big ballroom, there's rooms. So just stay tuned.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. We will have an English language broadcast with myself, with Jerry, with Tony Sanchez from Two Balls and a Mic. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do it. whether we're doing it in Tony's garage in Chula Vista or whether we're doing it in the conference room at Calafino with an unrelated watch party going on below us, or whether we're doing it at the Dana with y'all. #logistics.
Yeah, so
We'll figure that
Sammy
part
in the
out.
chat, it's going to be at Corner Sports Arena in Chihuahua. So we'll be doing a watch party for the 18th, and then we will come home on the 21st. On the 21st,
Correct. On the 21st. Friday, the 21st, is the night. It's the night that the people have been clamoring in the MASL since the beginning of the year. It is the rematch of, sorry, Tony, San Diego. Located in San Diego proper, not Chula Vista. Match 2 and match 3, if necessary. Sockers and Savage, Friday, April 21st, 7:35 p.m. kickoff. Tickets at sdsockers.com. Tickets at 866-799-GOAL. 2 weeks to get a group together. 2 weeks to organize bringing your club out or bringing a group of your friends out to this match, to the what I called on the broadcast on Sunday, Jerry, the MASL Shadow Finals for the Ron Newman Cup. This is, like back when I was a kid growing up and the Niners and Cowboys always played in the NFC Championship match, and you knew whoever won was going to go on and win the Super Bowl, and like every year they did. This is the Shadow Championship of the league, I believe. This night, April 21st, one of these two teams, the Sockers or the Savage, move on to be the overwhelming favorite to take the cup. And we believe it'll be the Sockers. We believe that they'll get the job done. But we've got 2 incredibly intense, exciting matches next week to enjoy together, both at the watch party on Tuesday and then at the arena on Friday. Honestly, Jerry, if you're a fan of the sport, this is what it's all about, these 2 matches.
Yeah, you're not going to want to miss this game on Friday, April 21st. Please, we need all of you that are listening. Tell your friends, family, those that have been to a game, those that have not been to a game, anybody and everybody, bring them out to this one, because especially against the Savage, a team that we know the louder we get, the worse time they have in our house. So we want to make sure we show them a really not fun time and just really make a lot of noise and make our presence felt and give our boys that extra push because, yeah, I think we can all agree that this is, potentially, would you call it the Shadow Championship game?
Yeah,
Yeah,
or the
I feel
Shadow
like
Finals, however you want to
Shadow
put
Finals,
it. Yeah.
that's exactly it. So it's going to be a great time, fun game. And at that point, we'll know whether we have to win 1 or 2, which is going to be even that much more exciting. So, get the whole family out. Yeah, come over.
And K. Vibbert says it. Berna just loves Section 19. he typed Bernie. I'm sure that got auto-corrected. But yeah, Valdivinos and Section 19 have a love-hate affair without the love.
That's how we call him in the streets. El Sargento Bernie.
Bernie. A Bernie way.
He's going to look like a weekend at Bernie's after we're done with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
let's go.
I like it. All right. Last thing, mark the following Friday, because if the Sockers are so lucky and fortunate and dedicated and determined and blessed to advance to the grand final, to the MASL finals, grand final night should be Friday, April 28th at 7:35 p.m. Should be. Has the league asked us to change that date multiple times? Yes. Have we held the line multiple times? Yes. Is there a reason for that? Yes. Am I going to say it before it's jinxed? No. So understand we are holding the line on Friday, April 28th for a reason. And we intend to be there, and we intend for that to be a special night. And just, again, to wrap up and answer Marlicia's question, no Sockers Overtime Tuesday. So, yeah, we'll move it to Wednesday, I'm sure, next week. Unless you've got a conflict or I've got a conflict, but I don't think we do next Wednesday, Wait.
We'll let you know.
We do. It'll be Thursday. The 20th will be Sockers Overtime because Jerry and I have a Challenge Cup Wave home match.
We do.
On the 19th. On
That's
the 19th.
right.
Yeah.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. So it'll be Soccer's Overtime next week will be on Thursday, the 20th.
Yes.
At 5:00. Yeah, we will do that Thursday the 20th, because for Jerry and I, it's going to be swinging both sides of the vine here. We'll do indoor soccer watch party on the 18th. We'll do a home match because the NWSL has a preseason tournament that they play during the season.
During the season.
Still don't understand that. It's okay. We're going to be there, and we're going to enjoy it. We'll accept the challenge. So we'll accept the challenge for the Challenge Cup. So yeah, that's the calendar. It's good. What a fun week. What a fun week it's going to be for San Diego soccer next week, because it's going to be Tuesday watch party, Wednesday wave match, Thursday Soccer's Overtime, Friday Soccer's and Savage semifinals, shadow finals, Saturday take the day off, Sunday Loyal at home hosting Tampa Bay Rowdies on the 23rd. So it's going to be a completely full week of soccer. # support local soccer. Indoor fans support our outdoor teams. Outdoor fans support our indoor team. I think it'd be really cool if you did that.
That would be
Do
cool.
that. Brujos link is going out to the Brujos, to the Chavos, to the locals, to the Sirens. And if you've got a separate supporters group, let us know and we will send you that link for the 21st. All right. And the very, very last thing, if you haven't renewed your season tickets yet, please do. It'd be super helpful to the organization. It'd be really great for us if you did. And you've got until the 21st as our next deadline for an opportunity drawing. We've got 3 opportunity drawings we're doing for people who renew early for 2023-24. Again, the full season will be at Pechanga Arena again next year. Go right into your fan account. You know your Soccer's fan account. Go in there. You can renew right in there. Everyone who does before match 2 on Friday, April 21st is qualified for our next round of opportunity drawings. So please do. Our organization thanks you, our most dedicated fans.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
For Soccer's Overtime. That's it. The show is basically over. We're just going to say our thanks, and we're going to get out of here. Season 5, Episode 22, A Muzzling of Mesquite. Oh, Keith asks, what does an opportunity drawing mean? It means that there are prizes, things such as fan experiences for next year, or signed team jerseys, signed player jerseys, and we have a raffle of the people who renew their membership between now and the 21st. So that's what it means, Keith. So jump on in there and get into the drawing. Jerry, outstanding job producing, directing, and doing everything.
I'm completely failed. So this last part of the show, I'm gonna try to do something. I'm gonna try to play our playoff hype video as we leave. I'm gonna do my best. I don't know if I'm gonna pull it off, but
okay.
We might just see you for a little bit. But yeah, go ahead and we'll finish it up and we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in, by the way. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
All right. Thanks to Juan Gonzalez, our special guest as well. For Jerry Jimenez, I'm Craig Elston. Thanks to you for making us part of your Tuesday evening or your rewatch whenever it was, or your listen during the week. Until we get together for that watch party next Tuesday, have a great weekend. Enjoy the MASL playoff action and go Sockers. Well, there's me. Scoto, left wing, shoots and scores! Churras! In the won't end, will Serta end it? Here comes Cesar Serta! Cesar Serta! Score! He ends it! And he sent the Sockers home happy!
Así, pégale, 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 pégale! No!
It's golden! It's golden! It's golden, Gutierrez! The San Diego Sockers are back-to-back MASL Ron Newman Cup champions.